Welcome, everybody. My name is Scott Hunter, Bedford Fire Department Chief, and we're here with the entire Fire Department executive team. We have Liz Duclos, our administrative assistant, Deputy Chief Keith Folsom, our Deputy Chief of Operations, Captain of Risk Reduction Thatcher Plant, and Captain of EMS and Training Ben Selleck. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
We just wanted to give an update from the fire department's perspective to the public today and the COVID-19 response. We've been doing a lot of planning and preparation for that at the fire department level, but you are some of our most important partners out there in the community, and we want to make sure you have all the information you need to be equipped with in order to battle the COVID-19 and help us to help you. So I wanted to get started with Captain Plant, who has some advice about reducing the risk at home and limiting your family's exposure.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. So I will steal a quote from the Chief. In the general public, what you are being asked to do is simple in theory. We understand that it is difficult in practice. It takes a lot of discipline to stay at home. We know people are getting bored and getting a little anxious, but you really need to, like you said, limit your exposure. So I know my family, we used to go to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week because we didn't like doing the big trips that took us a couple of hours. But now we've shifted our practices to we go to the grocery store once every 3 weeks. We started buying in bulk, freezing things. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's think of how many different people that you are limiting your interaction in just by doing something like that. I know we're bored, we're looking for stuff to do. Maybe we want to take a trip to the hardware store because those are still open as an essential business, but you don't want to put your family at risk for something that could be delayed. So certainly use curbside delivery and pickup, Amazon, any of those that will deliver to your home. And that's really what we're asking you to do is just limit your exposure to the general public. If you don't have to go out, then don't go out, and we can all get back to a normal life quicker and stay healthy.
That's great advice. Thank you very much, Captain Plant. And like you said, they're easy, simple thing. They're simple things, but it doesn't mean that they're easy, especially to do in the long run. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. Deputy Folsom, some changes happened over the weekend with CDC's recommendation. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Over the weekend, the CDC came out and recommended that when you go out in public, and this is for the general public, along with our providers, we go out in public, you should be wearing some kind of a cloth or non-medical N95 type mask. The reason why we're suggesting a non-medical mask is we need to preserve the medical mask for the first responders and the medical professionals to dealing with the really, really sick people. The non-medical masks prevent the spread of the virus more than protect the person wearing them from getting the virus. And that is the main thing, is to protect the spread to the general public. So a couple of guidelines when wearing the cloth mask is that you want to wear them when you go out and you can't keep a social distancing, like at the grocery store, the pharmacy, or the hardware store, when you're going to be in close proximity to people. A lot of the stores have put up lines and on the floor and everything, but you still, if you're walking past somebody in a hallway or something, you're still within that 6-foot distance. So they really, really need to wear a mask if you're going to go out in those places of business or public where you can't keep your exact social distance. And a couple of things, you can buy the mask. Most of the people, there's a lot of things on YouTube and on social media on how to make your own mask, even if it's out of just a simple cloth napkin and some elastic bands. A couple of things that CDC recommends on how to make them. They should fit snugly and comfortably against the side of your face, but they should allow for breathing with no restrictions. And you should include several layers of fabric to make the filter. And another thing, they should be able to be laundered and machine dried to be able to clean them. And we've had, there's a lot of people out there making them, a lot of seamstresses, or people that just know how to sew a little bit. We're fairly lucky here at the fire department. One of our members' wives is a seamstress, and she made a whole bunch of masks for the providers. It's just a simple cloth mask, comes around, comes up, goes on the bridge of your nose, protects you. This mask has a little pocket in it that we can put a filter, and the CDC recommends you can do that. And
it looks good on you, Deputy.
What's that?
It looks good on you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So
I like the ones
is that this is in addition to, not instead of, the other recommendations.
That's correct. This is in addition to washing your hands, which is probably one of the most important things that we have that is out there, is wash your hands throughout the day and protect any surfaces that you may touch or whatever. You need to protect yourself. We all put our hands to our face, and that's where the transmission comes in. And as much as we try not to, we all find ourselves touching our face. And the masks actually prevent us from touching our face itself. So that's the biggest thing that we want to do. So please get some masks, make some masks, the non-surgical type, and wear them out in the public when you can't keep the social distancing.
All right, thank you, Deputy. Liz, you have some ideas about maintaining a positive atmosphere at home with our families in the long run.
Yes, obviously there's a lot of things we need to be doing right now for ourselves and for our families, and there's a lot of recommendations out there during this time on just kind of how to keep a clear mind and take care of ourselves. So exercise is a great idea, even meditation, eating healthy, making sure we're taking care of our bodies. Also to limit our screen time, make sure that the information we're getting is from a viable source, but make sure we're getting it in dosages. Make sure we're not overwhelming ourselves with the news, media, things like that, and just kind of pacing ourselves in what we hear. Other ideas, you could find a hobby that you really like or start a new hobby, something you would enjoy to kind of stimulate your mind, take your thoughts off of everything that's currently going on. I know a lot of people out there have small children. I'm one of them. Some great ideas we can do with our kids and our families. A lot of zoos, like the Cincinnati Zoo, has virtual tours that you can take.
Oh, neat.
You can live stream at aquariums, things like that. The Boston Children's Museum, these are all accessible through their websites. The Bedford Fire Department has the Firefighter Challenge, which you could participate in as a family, and you can find that link on our Facebook page. So those are all great ideas. And for those of us that have children, just to realize, this is a tough time for everybody. How we choose to talk to our children, is specific to what we think is best. But I think it's just important to stay healthy, make sure that, we do things to kind of, keep our focus on the positive things that are going on right now.
Sure, yeah, and things that are developmentally appropriate for one age child might not be the same for another. And your point about screen time is well taken too. Something that our kids are challenged with on a regular basis, even more of a challenge now that we're asking them to increase their screen time to do schooling. Great advice. Thanks for your help with that. Captain Selleck, what message do you have for the public about how to help us to help them?
Yeah, thanks, Chief. We need the community's help to help all the members of our community. There's a national shortage of personal protective equipment that we need for COVID-19. This shortage requires us to disinfect and reuse personal protective equipment that we're supposed to throw out after every use. We also have to be selective about what calls we wear the personal protective equipment on. So accurate information to questions from our communications specialist help our EMTs determine what type of personal protective equipment they should wear. Inaccurate information may require us to send personnel to quarantine. Sending personnel to quarantine has significant implications on our budget, operational capabilities, and especially the families of those quarantined. Having personnel on quarantine reduces our available workforce, reducing our ability to help. So please help us to help you by answering questions appropriately, as accurately as you can when calling 911.
Appreciate that. So things like, do you have flu-like symptoms? And being honest with those answers doesn't mean we're not coming. We're still coming. Means that it helps us to choose which PPE to appropriately use for that call. PPE being personal protective equipment. So thank you everybody for your messages today. At the fire department, we're still making plans and working diligently to make sure that we're prepared as we go into the weeks to come. Just remember, please, for the public, that you are the first responders in this. We're first responders, but we need your partnership in this, and you are doing battle with this by staying home and protecting yourself from COVID-19. And those kind of preventative efforts are helping us as much as we can help you in response. So thanks everybody for your time today, and everybody be safe out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.